There we go. All right. So, welcome to the LinkedIn Recruiter Bootcamp series. This is, recruiting in the digital age. My name is Joe Gonzalez. I work with the search and staffing clients here. Focuses on the small to medium business sector. Just a handful of recruiters. So, everything being presented throughout this series is really focused on teaching recruiters how to leverage the free parts of LinkedIn correctly. And there's so many things that just need to be, tweaked a little bit as far as strategy and messaging, how you're telling a story. And that's kind of what we're going over today is what story and message are you really telling with your profile. So for those of you who haven't already, I would like you to go ahead and maybe after the meeting here is actually join the group. You see the blue arrow, Recruiting in the Digital Age. We'll basically be posting resources, ideas, articles, news feed, and updates. There is a section of LinkedIn's websites that's a talent solutions blog, and there's lots of great data and info, but this is going to be highly targeted, very focused on helping you guys, again, to just get a better understanding of what's changing and how to be on the leading edge and what it means to your specific, efforts. So, it's not going to be overloaded with information. It's all going to be very carefully filtered from some of the best minds here at LinkedIn. So, urge you to join the copies of all the recordings, and if you're watching this as a recording in the future, you'll be able to go through this and kind of walk through these actionable to-do items post-webinar. So I'm going to give you guys some things to actually work on and change when you leave this session. Last time was more of an info session, which you can actually review from last time for those of you who may have missed it. Just the way that we interact with and do business has changed, and a lot of it's obviously now is online. Picture here from the Pope being ordained. We have 2005 with the cell phone, flip phone here and there, and today in 2013 just littered with phones. And we really have to adapt. We have to be intentional about the way that we're messaging, what we're saying. And a big part of that message last time was about the right time, the right place with the right message, and delivered in the right way. So again, for those of you who missed, that was kind of the overall ecosystem and change and how we're going to learn to adapt as recruiters. Again, today is more about actionable items and how we're going to take some real steps moving forward. So something to walk away with today and some next steps to make you guys more effective. So an important thing to remember about this ecosystem on LinkedIn, currently the recruiters are sending emails, they're telephone calls, emails, we're communicating any way we can with these candidates, trying to engage them with your brand, sharing your story piece by piece. On LinkedIn, obviously via InMail or connecting, and people are researching, you guys are looking for opportunities, and at the same time as they're looking at your profiles, which we're going to learn how to leverage better today, is hopefully we can push them and engage them and get them so excited about learning about your value proposition that they'll want to go visit your company page and validate your company as an entity here. And my partner Michelle will be going over that next time. And hopefully we can convert these viewers of our profiles that are either reactive to our message or pursuing us, that we can go from company page to, hey, this is a really incredible company. I'm going to find my next opportunity with them. I want to choose to follow them. Some of the stats we had last time talked about if you've got candidates who are following your company on LinkedIn, there's over a 78% chance that they're going to respond to your InMail. So followers are extremely, extremely important, and it's this life cycle here that just continues to rotate and go around in circles. We want to just capture, attract, and engage this audience. So without further ado, let's step into your personal profile makeover and how we're going to do this specifically for search and staffing. So again, the landscape, where we are right now, we've got 279 million plus members on LinkedIn, growing at 4 million plus a month and 2+ members a second. All types of professionals, a variance of industries that are really starting to boom and take off. We recently, just had some big improvements. We're expanding globally, so basically the workforce is just growing ever present here. So we know that this is the place where the talent is. And one of the most important things about our profile and why it's so important, I pulled this stat last night in preparation for this presentation. You may have to zoom in, but you can see here, this is Alexa.com. This tells us real-life stats on the highest-ranked web pages in the world. And globally, LinkedIn is ranked 8th, and in the U.S., it's ranked 7th. So the 7th and 8th most visited website in the U.S. and the entire world. And the #1 activity on all of LinkedIn is to view profiles. So arguably, this is the most, or one of the most important things that we can rethink and make sure that we're being clear. So I want everybody to, whether you're doing this as an exercise later or reviewing this demonstration, is really stop and think about a few key questions. So we'll be revisiting those. So again, members are coming to LinkedIn for a variety of reasons. Obviously, we want to go out and recruit the best talent, but our talent isn't necessarily always an active candidate looking for an opportunity. They're coming to brand themselves. They want to establish themselves here on LinkedIn as a professional identity, or they're looking to grow out their network, obviously to connections, maybe to learn, and that leads us into insights. And a big part of what we're going to be talking about next session is sharing content and really adding value to our candidates. So, we want to participate in and cater to all of these different types of candidates on LinkedIn, because the passive audience is obviously a great place to capture really great talent who's successful. So long-term happy clients and placements. So the questions before starting this exercise, when you guys maybe watch this recording later, don't take any notes during the session. I would suggest to set aside time this week sometime to rethink your profile. And I want you to pause and really think about these few things. Right now, as it stands, what message is my profile sharing or demonstrating? What story am I sharing? Is this, this is about us at the same time, but how is it helping those viewing my profile? What message would I actually want my profile to share if I could? So if I could basically have an intention of the message that I want to get across, what would that be? And I would suggest, really thinking about that and writing down what that message should clearly state to your candidates and to your clients, and make sure that that's the filter of everything you put on your profile. And then basically, again, how I make this message clear. So it's just about being intentional, and what makes sense to us doesn't always make sense to everyone else, so we really have to think about the verbiage we're using and how we're putting this in context to make it simple. It's got to be simple. We're not trying to overly impress with crazy words. We're just trying to make the message clear. And lastly, basically, after they review your profile, what would I want them to do next? So am I prompting them towards something? Am I asking for a relationship? Am I teaching or educating them? Am I pushing them to my company page? What should they do after? Because if we can get them there to look at your profile after viewing a message, what next steps would you like them to take? So here's some things that the best are doing on LinkedIn. And leads basically down to three key terms. Validate. We want to validate our experience, skill sets, our industry knowledge, basically that we're quality. Secondly is to educate. We want to leave the viewer, whether it's the candidate or the client, walking away being impressed. Just knowing something different, and just knowing that you have some knowledge that they don't, that they'd love to tap into from a candidate or client perspective. And we also want to differentiate ourselves. We want to stand out. Again, if you remember from last time, there's 1.2 million recruiters on LinkedIn. All of them, or majority of them, are sharing the exact same message the same way. So it's by just a little bit of differentiation we're going to go through today, you're going to have the ability to really stand out. So validate, educate, differentiate, kind of catchy. So again, really think about what is your story? What is your unique value proposition? And then every piece and step we're going to go through in the parts of your profile that matter and the best practices of what those who are doing on LinkedIn are doing well with in these sections, we want to make sure that this story emanates from every part of it. So let's dive in, first step. Obviously, a photo is incredibly important. I can't tell you enough how many clients I actually speak to on a daily basis who don't have a profile photo. If you're not real, you are absolutely not real. You're not memorable. You're text on a page on the internet with billions of other faceless profiles. So choosing the right photo is incredibly important. I read some different blogs, tips, and talked to some of my colleagues, and some of the things that are most important is a clear picture that's not distracting, one that really represents ourselves, not our cat, which literally these are all pictures from LinkedIn profiles, no joke. So a clear background, someone that's easy to see, smile, a clear headshot that doesn't chop off the top of your head. We're not looking for like this blurry picture that was scanned in from a high school photo. Again, very clear, easy to see, memorable, easy visual association. This one seems like a nice picture on the bottom right, but it's a side profile. She's wearing sunglasses. Depending on the business, maybe it's appropriate, but for recruiting, not so much. We need to make the face memorable to the profile. And again, this one's great. It shows business background, but again, a clear headshot, chopped right below the neck. And again, not the goofy, silly. I mean, have some humor if you'd like, but you know, selfies are not suggested. So obviously the top options are kind of what we're looking for. Be memorable. So very important in selecting that right photo. Tagline. This appears, you know, any candidate who is using a basic profile or a slightly upgraded, you know, searching profile, they see your photo, they see your title, and they see your tagline and the relationship distance to you, first, second, or third degree, or at a network. This tagline is incredibly important for a variety of reasons. So here you can read Barbara's is my mission to seek out and employ top talent. So again, very recruiter-based focused. This is your professional headline and brand, and you can go about this a variety of ways. I'll show you some good examples, but essentially you could say what you are and who you are, you know, recruiter at such and such company specializing in IT staffing, and or be expressive about your intentions and passion, like Barbara does here about her mission, you know, very explicit. Part, helping companies connect talent with opportunity at massive scale. Michelle, enterprise account executive at LinkedIn. So a couple different versions there to kind of pick and choose from, kind of get your brain thinking about how do I want to represent myself, and be true to yourself. But again, very clear about the intention and what your purpose is. So again, tagline is incredibly important. It shows up on regular searches. It could make or break. It could make an impact on someone to click on your profile or not. Huge. The next part we'll step into is basically your summary. This is your elevator pitch. This is a client of mine who I'm very impressed with the way he's built out his summary. We want it to be read in, you know, a maximum of 10, 15 seconds or so. It's got to be engaging. It's got to capture attention. It's got to add value. And again, he's very specific, and he does tell a story. You know, he mentions that he's a recruiter exclusively working in enterprise storage, backup, and disaster recovery. And then he also mentions, I know the storage industry with its nuances and trends. He's networked. And then after that, on the bottom right, you see, I truly care and will do everything I can to help anyone who asks. I know this guy. He lives this. There you see on the bottom left, whether you're looking to build your sales team with industry-proven A players, so again, a pitch directly to clients, or you're contemplating your next career move, so focusing on his candidates, I can help you get where you need to be. Reach out to me at and let me know what I can do for you. So to be honest, if there's anything that is very, very sensitive on LinkedIn today, candidates they can sniff out a transactional recruiter a mile away. If you show through your profile that you're a giver, that you care, and that you're going to really invest to help them be successful, that you're an industry leader and you're a very focused niche, that you can provide insights to them, and I'm going to show you guys in the future here, Michelle will, how we can educate at scale so you really can have these effects. This right here, if you can have this emanate through, this will be your differentiator, absolutely. In your messaging strategy as well. So the next two sessions are going to be on your company page and sharing content to educate, and on a messaging strategy. So we'll deep dive into how we let this same type of summary and expression ring through throughout, consistently throughout all of your work here on LinkedIn. So literally, this will be your differentiator, along supplemented with anything else you guys have that makes you different. So very importantly, on highlighting your skills and expertise, when I was kind of newer to seeing the skills section getting endorsed for skills, I accepted anybody's, suggestions. Hey, Joe knows Word, Joe knows Excel, he knows PowerPoint. And at one point I thought that was great, but instead, if I was a recruiter, I'd want some things to say recruiter, sales, and coaching. And as some of those office type things are great and all, it's kind of, common knowledge. We want to highlight the most important expertise and skills that we have. So here's an example of one of my clients: executive search, talent acquisition, applicant tracking, temp placement, recruiting, sourcing, staffing services. We want these types of skills highlighted. And if you go to just edit your profile, you can scroll down to your skills section. You can just delete terms you don't want. And I would suggest doing that. You want to share your message as quickly as possible in high value in a focused area. So, and at the same time, I personally would say if you can have these endorsements limited to those who can really endorse you for executive search, like your clients, for sourcing from people at your company, for recruiting from the candidates that you're recruiting. You want to be endorsed by relevant people, not by your mom. So it's important to make sure you don't just, accept any endorsement and accept any skill that they say you have, because even if you don't write down the skill here that you have, it will be written for you. The company description is very important as well in your experience. You want to define your role at the company, why you work there, and the place in the big picture. Do not cut and paste the summary from your company website. They can read that there or on your company page. This is about your experience, your role, and what the big picture is and how you're playing a part in it. So here's two examples of clients of mine who did a great job of this, talking about, again, head of operations, recruiting firm with a specialty in this area, and basically what his goal is. Same with TeleSolutions National Search below. You'll notice there's a logo on Staffing First and not on TeleSolutions. It's possible that her site links may not just have a logo yet, but very important to make sure that your company link here under your experience goes to your company page. A lot of people on LinkedIn in general will just type in the name of the company and hit enter. But if I was doing Staffing First, I would type in under my experience, I'd go and edit it, I'd type in Staffing First, LL, and then I'd wait for LinkedIn to autofill the people on the companies on LinkedIn that it's relevant to, select that drop down just to make sure that everybody at the company is linking back to the company page. It's going to be a very big driver of traffic to make sure that if your profile is engaging, they got to know where to go. So if they threw in something at the end of these descriptions saying, come talk to us about, or something engaging, obviously if they got in there to read it, they're going to have the ability to go and learn more at the page. So no cutting and pasting. All in all, if we can have a more complete profile, this is going to give more touch points and opportunities for us to have things in common with candidates and clients. So when you edit your profile, make sure that, again, everything highly targeted and relevant to your audience. This is about them. It is about you, but it's more about them. It's what's important to them. What about my experience is going to make them find me a valuable relationship driver? So again, qualifications, recommendations, one of my favorites is putting up media, links, URLs, videos on your summary, under your jobs that you've had. Be able to showcase a little bit more in a visual way instead of just text. But it's, again, you might have gone to the same school, a similar organization. Very important to leverage this profile to its full potential. So that way you have opportunities to create more warm introductions or have things to talk about. Building your network is incredibly important. I would suggest spending at least 10 minutes a week, going through who you may know, either through groups, through colleagues or friends, or some of the goals you should have when connecting. This is, again, we want to build our networks with recruiters. We want bigger reach. We want to see more candidates, of course. But when doing this, think of these goals in mind. With your message or with your request, add value to their career. Point them to an article. Give them something valuable. It's making yourself memorable. Personalize your connection request. So don't obviously just request connection. Write something thoughtful. And try to start off that first message with a relationship build. Don't just ask about, hey, I got an opportunity for you, you're a great fit. Start off with a relationship, and if you can get that and get that phone call, you're going to be able to close them if the opportunity is the right fit. So again, most recruiters just start off right away with, hey, I got a position, and they're very sensitive to that. Keeping up with time, getting recommended works just like skill sets. You want to have recommendations for your job from, relevant people. So if you can get that from clients, from candidates, or from people at your office, very important that, it's always going to be very relevant. And you can choose to delete or show which ones you want. It's good to have a loaded profile, but not too much that I can't get through all of it, and really understand your full story. Really a simple trick is when you're editing your profile, you actually have the ability to edit your custom link to your page. So instead of having some random mumbo jumbo profile link, you can customize it to your own personalized name. So mine is linkedin.com, Joseph A. Gonzalez. So it helps to just kind of brand yourself, especially if they come to your page and it looks much nicer. So definitely boost your stats a little there. And this is, again, you might have to zoom in. I apologize if it's a little small, but this is just kind of highlighting the main points that are important. Obviously, using your real name, having a creative tagline, a great photo. You see here in a perfect example, chopped from the neck up, full headshot, clear, visible. A summary that's engaging, describes who you are and the company you represent and your unique value proposition. One of my favorite pieces you see in the two boxes below is sharing content. I'm a big advocate of sharing media. When you edit any part of your profile, you should have the option under summary or under your experiences to add media. There's a button to the right of it there where you can just add a URL, paste link, and add in a video or presentation or slide deck. So definitely builds, it's better not to just have text, but be able to communicate to those who prefer video or prefer something a little more visually engaging. So tell your story in a variety of ways. 4 things that you should do in the next 24 hours. Again, reiterating, validate, educate, and differentiate. Be better. Enhance your personal profile and brand. Fill out your whole history, education. Again, that important, giving us more touch points for conversations. Secondly is be found. You can actually optimize your profile with keywords and add a public URL. So it's important to think about the keywords that you would go search for to find candidates and clients, and make sure you're playing in the same ballpark, because the same verbiage is being thrown around left and right. If you need help with these things, we'll be posting articles and ideas in the group as well. Be connected, continually adding people, but being intentional. Starting great, smart connections and starting them off on the right foot. Don't just connect and walk away. Send a message, develop a relationship, add value. I like to have a handful of articles, and ideas and things pasted or cut or saved in a bookmark I have that I share with my clients, recruiting companies all the time. Hey, let me give you this little bit of advice. Let me just give you a little something here to walk away to remember me by. And then adding a photo. That's so important. So these are things to step into right away. Again, we're going to post this recording in the group, Recruiting in the Digital Age, so you'll be able to watch again and go through these steps again. But don't cut and paste. Be original. Think about your story. And again, this is focused on adding value. Add value to your candidates and clients. What do you know, and how can you help them? This is about them, not about us. So we're going to step into, from going today, personal brand. Next session, we'll be talking about our professional brand and how we build out a very strong, compelling, engaging company page where we can capture traffic and followers and really build strong relationships that are going to help us be successful down the long run. So with that, I open up any questions. The chat is open, so happy for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Anybody who has any questions or comments, feel free to write down in the chat. I'll mark a little note. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer anything for you in the meantime. So one question I got, do you need the premium version to create a company page? Answer is no. If you guys actually connect with me on LinkedIn, there is and I'll repost it on the group too, but there's actually, I have a page that shows you how to create a company page in a video tutorial, 2 minutes long, and basically gives you a step-by-step on all the best practices to attract and engage candidates through there. So it is free to create. So one person asked here, what if recruiting is a new career, about a year? Should I fill out my previous employment history if not relevant? I wouldn't date back more than a handful of years, but within the last 5 years, it is relevant to your skill sets. Maybe you have some industry knowledge. It's going to be up to you, but if it shows that you've been working in professional for a handful of years, I don't know how long you've been working for, but it's good to show that you have a variety of experiences. I would keep the summary of those experiences shorter and targeted, and try to, obviously not fib, but try to make sure that you're writing those things to, again, stay with the filter of, why you are the way you are. Again, the summary you're writing is going to be talking about your value proposition and what your story and your mission is. So if part of your history showed characteristics that you have and how you served your clients and candidates, and you're going to be taking those things in to this new career, I definitely would leverage it. And I would also try to get recommendations from candidates and from clients in the past or coworkers in the past that highlight those specific characteristics about you as a professional. It's all about your whole story. We all come from different backgrounds. I never was a recruiter, but I have history kind of learning and knowing about it. But my customer service and the way that I taught and led before my last company helped give me validation through here. So it is relevant. Just make sure that, again, it's filtered through your mission and your full story. So create that strong story filter. Any more questions from anybody? One question we had is, can I link my blog or company website blog or blogs that you maybe write yourself as a potential thought leader? Can I get that on my own personal brand and profile? And actually, yes, if you edit your profile, you're able to add, I believe, up to 3 websites to your personal page. So if you wanted to showcase some of your work or links through there, linking that, obviously the traffic through LinkedIn that you're putting all this effort into to your own personal blog and your own thoughts and thought leadership, definitely an option for you. All right, well, it looks like we don't have any more questions. I really appreciate everybody joining today. Again, I will be posting the recording in the group. Please go join Recruiting in the Digital Age on LinkedIn. And again, I have great minds sharing best practices there for you. So continually going to be updating that even after the series is done. And we look forward to having you next time. I should be sending out the invites for the 3rd webinar probably tomorrow. Each of your reps will send them out to you guys. And feel free to share it with your peers, invite friends to it. Bring your boss, bring your employees, bring everybody to it just so they can learn as well. So take care and have a great, wonderful day.